Dr. Natalie St. Germain.
Oh,
So
give
I'm here
thanks.
for my brother. I've been doing on Atlanta. I said I have to be here.
Oh, give
Nice,
so much
nice.
Oh,
Thank
thanks.
you.
wow. You traveled here today?
No, I came here Sunday.
Okay, so you're here for
Oh,
6.
okay, so you happened to be here and
No,
then.
no, I came here for that, so I just make plans around it. So I didn't have
Oh,
Because you missed the ceremony in Georgia.
No, I missed that one because I traveled. I went to Egypt at that time.
Oh,
So I said I have to be here.
Mm-hmm.
oh, God is so good.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what to do with this real quick? We
yes.
missed it.
So the oil. So which one? Where's the spray?
This-
Oh, okay. Oh, you got them both in the middle.
Oh,
Okay,
just trying to pick
perfect.
what you're
So the spray you're just gonna bring around your aura, and it's oud. And sister, again, tell us that you did it so eloquently. So tell us everything you know about oud.
Oud is very magnetic. It is very uplifting. It is a very royal scent.
Mm.
And being that we all do come from royalty,
Yes,
it's
we
only
do.
appropriate that we should be
Yes,
wearing
we
it.
should.
That's
And
right.
It attracts a lot of good things to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sharing that so
I'm in
both
the
of
right
these
place
have
today.
oud,
Mhm.
and one is an anointing oil. So it's really important that we, especially when we're talking about love, when we're talking about opening our hearts, we have to open our hearts to accept more of our temple, our body. So many of us, they'll talk about what's wrong with their body, but we don't talk about the magnificent and magic and wonder and beauty that this human experience, this beautiful avatar, gives us. So we anoint it. We can anoint your first eye, so you can put it on your first eye, which is here, or you can anoint your heart. So, like Sister was saying, to attract. So now that we're going to be open, we want to make sure we attract in the right things. So it's going to be very powerful, very royal energy.
How do you say it again?
Oud.
Oud.
So we're saying
Oud.
put it around us?
No, that's the name of the
Oh,
oil.
sorry.
Yeah, no,
Oud.
sorry.
You saying what you manifested.
Oud. Oud in the place to be. That's right. It's oud on, you know?
This is the cacao. So I'm gonna pass around. This is the raw cacao. My sister just got me from
Wonderful. We're
Cascaya.
going
And so
YouTube live here.
Cascaya is the indigenous word
Oh,
for
thank you.
the Dominican Republic.
I see.
So
Oud.
that's where the cacao.
This is the oud. Okay.
Cascaya. Can everyone say Cascaya?
Spray. Spray.
Cascaya is where?
Dominican
Yes, exactly. So it's the indigenous
good,
name of the Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
So
thank you. Thank
this cacao has a spirit, just like all plants. All plants have a spirit. Actually, all things really, but specifically plants. So we said before that is this a fruit, a vegetable, or an herb?
Fruit.
Yes, it's a fruit. Wait, y'all get the ding again.
Yeah.
It's a fruit and it comes in a pod. And the pod, actually, when you open up the pod, has anybody ever seen an actual fruit of cacao? Like off a tree? You have? Yeah? Where did you see it? Oh, nice. And so you know that's like the white, like, it almost is like a lychee, like that kind of substance, and it's really sweet. It tastes really good. And then you eat through that, and in that they have the cacao seed or the cacao bean, and then they take the bean and they roast it, and then they dry it, they roast it, and then they kind of smash it and ground it, and eventually they turn it into this type of block here. And this has the fat, because cacao is 50% fat, which is really good. 'Cause most of the time people are like, oh, fat, like I want no fat. Yeah, exactly. No, but the fat is really good.
This is the good fat. Yeah.
There's good fat and then there's not so good fat. But cacao has super good fat, and it has a ton of magnesium.
Magnesium.
Anybody know what magnesium is for?
Yes. It's like atomic hormuz, which is
Hormuz.
basically structured water in a form, and it's rich with iron and manganese, and we are magnetic beings. And our magnetic fields go within and without our bodies. Multiple
magnesium. I mean, most humans lack magnesium. Most of us are deficient in magnesium. So this is cacao. It's one of the highest.
Interesting.
Sources of magnesium. So I want you to smell her and just like really connect it. And what does that smell make you think of? Because a lot of times we don't know her as Cacao. Like I said last time, she's kind of been impostered, and now she's coming out and saying, no, I am Cacao, and this is, I am medicine.
I ain't that Hershey, that Hershey, Mr. Goodbar, Snickers, all this stuff. Get that stuff out of here. I don't know what that, Three Musketeers, what the hell is that? Hey, the bootleg cacao. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like, can the real Cacao please come forward and stand up? And she is. And so this is wonderful that we're reconnecting with the true medicine. And so we could go around and thank you. Did everyone get some follow?
Thank you.
And so,
Wow. Oh my goodness. Somebody took a bite. Look at that.
oh yeah.
That might have been me from last time.
Actually, if everybody wants to, if you want to take this one, you could just break off a little piece. It's bitter. I'm letting you know. So this is medicine. So it's not the Hershey.
So we have listeners on this for YouTube. They're saying this is chocolate is bitter. We're saying this is real chocolate is bitter. You're saying this is not sweet stuff. We're saying that chocolate is really not sweet.
They infuse that stuff for capitalism to sell.
Oh,
Taste.
oh my
That's
goodness.
sell.
We've been fooled.
It should be taste, but it should have a balance of taste. It should be tart,
Exactly.
sour.
Oh.
Like that. That's health.
That's like eating a mango one time. I ate a mango, Haitian mango, and
Those are the best.
as I'm eating it, the middle is sweet, the corner is like tangy. I'm like,
Wow.
that's fruit in the world.
That's deep,
Yeah.
That's deep.
It was so
Wow.
many different flavors in one entity.
Wow.
Oh yeah, did
Try this.
Oh, I think we have to break. You have to break off the piece of that.
Interesting.
You know what's so funny? It smells good, but it tastes so bitter. It's like bar. That's like eating bitter. You just smell it like, like cardboard chocolate. You just want to bite it. It's so
Nice. Yes.
Tasting dark chocolate for the first time, and I was like, what is this?
Because the higher the cocoa content, the more bitter it is.
Right.
Dark chocolate.
right. The most healthiest component.
Wow.
So we're gonna open the ceremony. So if everyone can stand up.
Ugh.
Can someone feel close to the room?
I'll do it. Oh, go ahead.
So you could just drum, and we're gonna. Does anybody know which way south is?
I got a compass.
Is that way? Okay, I trust the brother. That way
Yeah,
south.
that's what I pointed to. I'm trust spirit.
All right. So we're gonna stand this way with our arms open, up. Yeah. Oh, this way right here. Perfect. All right.
Straight.
All right. So this right here. Okay, perfect. All right. I'm gonna take a deep breath in and exhale at the mouth. We give thanks for the direction of the south, where the inner child lies. And we are calling in our inner children to this space to rejoice in joy, to rejoice in love, to open and remember our pure hearts, to remember our innocence, and bring us back to that wonder of everything, that wonder that we hold as we're young, bringing any healing that our children, inner children need, for forgiveness, for love, for more joy in our hearts, in our bodies, in our minds. Aho!
Aho! Aho!
We give thanks to the direction of the West, where the divine feminine lies. We thank you to all the women beautiful no thing, the void where all things come from. May we send all the woman and the divine feminine energy in each and every one of us more love, more appreciation, more honor. And we thank the divine feminine for being open to receive all the blessings, to receive all the messages. We give thanks. Tribe, aho!
Aho!
We give thanks to the divine direction of the north, where our ancestors lie, our ancient cosmic brothers and sisters, our angels, all the spirits that guide us for our highest good. And may we call out in this moment any ancestor, any divine ancestor that you are calling into this space. You can call them out in this moment.
Charlie Nelson, Fatima Ahmad, Quentin Wilkins Sr. Thank you, Gladys. Derek Filler.
We thank all the ancestors, knowing
Push.
that because you have been here before us, we are able to be here now. Thank you for all that you have paved the way for us to be here. Thank you for being so beautiful and humble and loving and all the things, everything that you have been through, all the pain, all the hurt, all the tears, whatever you have been through for us to be here. We are honoring you. We thank you. We hear you. We feel you. Aho!
Aho!
Give thanks to the direction of the east, where the divine masculine lies. We thank you to all the divine masculine energies and ask you to be uplifted. We uplift all of our brothers, our sons, our grandfathers. We send them so much love and so much honor. And may we continue to acknowledge our brothers and the growth and the strength and the honor that they hold. And let them know that it is time for them to connect with their emotions, connect with their feeling, to be able to feel freely and flowingly, and also allow for that divine protector or projector to be seen, to be heard within each and every one of ourselves. We honor you, we love you. One spirit, one tribe, one mind. Aho!
Aho!
We give thanks to Pachamama, Atabé, Tierra de la Madre, Gaia, again. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Pachamama, for all that you have provided for us. Thank you for all the indigenous communities that have kept the connection with you, that have kept the connection with the fire, the air, the earth, the water. Thank you to all indigenous tribes that have honored these medicines and have continued the ways so we can awaken to our highest selves and remember who we are. Thank you, Mama, for showing us what true unconditional love is. The more that we pollute you, the more that you continue to love us. Thank you. When we bow down and apologize for our ways, and we promise to do better. We promise to acknowledge the rain, to acknowledge the plants, the trees, the fruits, the vegetables, all that you give us, so that we can be here in harmony and balance and love. We thank you for allowing us to live on your skin. And we honor you for this beautiful experience in this earthly realm. And we send you so much love and gratitude. We open you up with a one heart, one spirit, one tribe, Aho.
Oh.
Okay, you guys are sitting out. I can just rise. We give thanks to Grandfather Fire. Grandfather, sorry. We were talking about Grandfather Fire. Sorry, yeah. Grandfather Sky. Thank you, Grandfather Sky, for the beautiful nectar that you are giving us today. The rain. Some of us may think, oh, it's raining. No, but it is beautiful. We need the rain. We need the sun. We need the moon. We need the wind. We need the clouds. We need the planets. We need the stars. We need it all. Because as above, so below, everything that you hold above us is inside of us. How expansive is the universe, is how expansive we are inside. All the possibilities are held within our hearts. And may we activate and ignite the vastness and the truth that we are. And we welcome you in with a humble heart, one spirit, one mind, one tribe. Aho!
Oh. Thank you.
And if we can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Close your eyes. Give yourselves gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, body. Thank you, life. Thank you, heart. And just think of maybe some of us might be wanting to hear approval, validation, acknowledgement. In this now moment, give that to yourself. Give that gratitude and thankful for every breath. See how far you have come. See how far from your inner child that you continue to grow. Just breathe into your heart and send yourself so much love and gentleness.
Oh.
So I have two batches here, and I don't remember.
Gotta get the
which
plug
was
for this.
the sweetest
Excuse
batch.
me.
Yeah. So we're just gonna have to. Some of us might get some sweet, some of us might get some straight up. So I'm just gonna say that whatever you get, what you get, what was that saying?
It's meant for you.
Yes.
Whatever you get, you don't get upset.
Yes, exactly that. So,
There we go.
I was hoping you would say sugar, so I'll be like, I don't like any of that. It's got sugar. Yes, you said dates. I'm like, dates.
we're gonna go around and introduce yourself. We're gonna say your name. So a lot of people, including myself, have been named something, but sometimes we might not resonate with the name that has been given to us. So
Yes, please.
So, if there is a name that has been calling you, and you have been maybe afraid, maybe not so sure, maybe whatever, but if there's something that is calling your spirit. And it's like, no, this is actually what I want to be called. But we might be shy about it because we've been programmed to be, this is my name, this is who I am. So let that name unfold. If we've had a couple of, during these ceremonies, some people have not even realized it, and they were like, oh my gosh, this name is coming to me. And so like, and then there's a couple of people I know that have, from this type of ceremonies on, have used that name. So whatever it is that's coming to you, feel free. And I also invite you to say who you're the daughter or son of, or what tribe you come from, or just whatever you want to share. And as well, if we can all share what your first introduction to love was, and what that means to you now, and if that is the same or if it changed.
Start that way.
I know, right? I'm like this. I'm like, damn, why did I know what it is? That just hit me just now.
Okay, we don't have to. We could popcorn. If anyone, is anyone feeling called? Does anyone want to share?
The new guy.
Who is anyone?
I'm from Jackson, Florida. I
You
felt
see?
it. I felt the energy. Yes, go ahead, girl.
Yes,
Do I have to stand or I can say sitting?
Oh no, you can say yeah.
My name is Dr. Madeline St. Germain. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, which is originally from Haiti. My first introduction to love is from my mother because I was the only child. My mom passed when I was 17. She really showed me what is love, and I thank God because like right now I got my husband and my kids, and also I just like my heart is open to give to people because I receive so much and I just give, and as I give it becomes like a cycle. I keep on receiving, and so I love being here again. I felt like it's like a family to me. One name that's been calling me for a long time and even in dream is strength, because from the tarot card strength, and my Madeline, my name means mighty tower from the Bible. Mighty tower.
It's Marilyn.
Madeline. And
Madeline.
Yes, Madeline. And I've been serving. That's my passion, serving. I got a school called Light Up University to support people to become that light. Not becoming that light, to understand and be aware that they are the light of the world.
Yes.
And so I'm glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, yes. Good thing. Thank you so much. And have you ever sat with Cacao before?
No, my first time.
So we're not gonna drink it right away. So everybody's sending it love, and we're going to just give it to me. I'll be the last one to receive. So you get it first. So and then we're just gonna keep on going around. So just make sure you send it love, and make sure you look at the person giving to you with gratitude. Yes. And yeah, so I don't know. We'll go this way.
They're just flowing.
Sorry. We
I'll go.
tricked you. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Oh, you
But
just
the
say
honesty on the issue, because that's my Libra thing. Should we do everything in order, or is it better to flow?
we could flow if we. No, it's okay. We can
You
flow.
next then, I'm messing the circle.
Come on, then.
No.
I let the divine feminine go first. Come on.
My first introduction to love would be my today from love.
What's her name?
Well, she was named Mary Jane.
Really?
Because her mom loved Mary Jane, right? Right? Spoke, right?
So we're gonna keep on passing on the way.
But to describe her, I know it's like this.
No, that's the way you're supposed to be. You're
Um, early childhood special ed, and she gave her all to the point. At one point, I was like, "You don't love me," but understanding her passion to help the community, I understood why she would come home, get my clothes, and she would give to the community because they didn't have. They're a product of crackhead parents, mothers who didn't want them, didn't go to sleep because they watched their siblings coming with crust in their eyes. To have a mom that loved unconditionally, I can't even explain it. And that's all I saw. To the point where I was protective because I felt like sometimes people abuse that love. You know, she would take everyone from the building and we would go on trips to the park, to the museum. If someone didn't have, she would put them on the YWCA because she saw their gift. And so that's all I know, that's all I see. So I'm always giving and always want to help to inspire because she showed me that. And I'm always thanking her to showing me unconditional love and being that value and that light. Because you don't hear much of that from stories. And I know it was a jewel, you know? So I'm humbled. So what do I think about as far as another name for myself? What I think of?
Yeah. If there is any.
I think for me it's really about truth. You know, truth, light, joy. That's who I am. You know? And I love it. And what else am I missing?
Got it.
That was it? Yeah.
Yeah, the chocolate's backed up, girl. You
Not the chocolate, the cacao.
Yeah, was backed up.
Okay, well, the name I would say is Poppy. That's a nickname that my mother used to and still gives me to. So, the first time I experienced love was living in my home community back in Haiti. That's the first time, it's the communal love that I've never experienced before. And when you have a community that shows you love, it's just totally different from the inner city experience that you experience, you know? And that's the first time I've experienced it in such a way that was enlightening to me. And so that was a great experience. I can say that, you know, that's childhood was just living in Haiti and experiencing being outdoors, enjoying fresh air, fresh food, and being around the community that I care, you know. And what was the other question? I said,
Unless there's anything else you want to
that's
share.
it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else feeling the call? You can just. So we're just doing popcorn. So just whoever wants to
My
go.
first experience with love, I would say, that I can remember is basically from my grandmother. Unconditional love.
What's her name?
Elaine Nichols. And she spent a lot of time with me. And she was also my godmother. She was my grandmother. And she just loved me. She taught me how to tie my shoes. She wouldn't let me get up until I learned how to do it. And my name is Leo. And what else am I missing?
Peace, family. My first experience with love is definitely especially my mother, because I'm an only child, and because of my mother raising me mostly by herself, and up to a point where they would call me my mother's shadow. And I'm grateful for knowing that, because without it, I wouldn't be able to operate within my heart space that I've known now. And growing up as a male, you get criticized for being overly emotional and being too sensitive. And you get told that men don't cry in the dark, but tears come from my face. So it's like the programming's never programmed into me. So I was always.
What was her name?
My mother's name is a raven.
I'm sorry?
A raven.
A raven?
A raven. A apostrophe raven.
A raven! Oh my gosh! Wow! Give thanks, A raven. She knew she was not just Beaver, she was an A. She was just A raven.
So funny story about my mom. All of my mom's siblings, their names begin with a D. She's the only one. She's the baby out of 7. And her name begins with an A. But she named me Timothy Adonis Williams. Well, my father named me. But my given name's Timothy Williams. But I gave myself this name ASAP Tim, which is an acronym for accomplishing stability and accepting power through time and money management.
Woo! Wait. Roll it back. A little bit slower. Say it one more time. Because we need to hear this.
Accomplishing stability, accepting power through time and money management.
Woo! Yeah. You give yourself a little yeah.
Cancer, you the Cancer. Oh.
Yeah, Cancer Sun,
That makes sense.
Mercury,
Yeah.
Venus, and Mars.
Oh man, yes. Powerful. No wonder it makes sense.
And then I had a mushroom journey that was 3.5 grams, and I was really going through. It was like 2021, like that shift for a lot of people, and that was like my first genuine moment of true love within myself. And I'll be 22 July 6th.
We're just talking about you today. I'm so glad you're here.
Yes.
You are the
Thank
future.
you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm grateful for being here. But on that mushroom trip, I was able to discover the name of my soul. So, such a beautiful space. And I seen myself.
Yes. Did you want to share?
Am I allowed to share? Yes.
Yeah, I heard it.
I heard you.
So I'm fire, I'm air, I'm earth, and I'm water. I'm ether, I'm everything. I'm life, I'm death. I'm the stars, and I'm the moon. I'm the sun. I'm a Semyasu. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Say I'm
A Semyasu.
a Asamiyasu.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
Yes.
Asamiyasu?
So if you want to say it like, you see me, I see you.
Yes.
Thank you for hearing me.
Yes, thank you for sharing. We see you, we hear you, we feel you. Yes. The future! We were just talking about
I had a brunch with 2 young people that fascinated me, 25, 26, out of this world. And I was like, we need more y'all. I swear.
No, it's for real. No, that's what we were just saying. We were just saying that.
It's funny because I remember I was just talking about my 7-gram mushroom trip, and so I'm doing a short film about myself because I recorded it, set my phone in the corner, recorded the whole experience. And in my recording, I said I'm gonna have a seat with y'all because everybody that's 30 and above, you've been doing the work and it's been working in this particular way, but we're in a different generation now. It's a different time, and we need change. It's not working the same. It's just not giving, for lack of better words. And I am him. So I would like to educate because knowledge has fallen onto me in a way that I didn't even know possible. Like, I remember flying when I was 6.
Thank you.
Hello.
The fire.
Yeah, that one. But, sorry.
You good?
Deep practice breath work, alchemizing the breath is very key. But yes, and it's funny, I manifested a situation where I will be able to have an audience that is 30 and below so that I can guide them, because I'm also an attorney. So I am sovereign, I am indigenous of the land, and I know my rights.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I manifested an opportunity next year actually for an event space for me to speak in front of people. But it just synchronizes with my life work because I've been doing this type of work since I was in high school. So like I was on a future council, which essentially was a student team. Excuse me. I was on a future council, which essentially was a team of student leaders from across New York City, and we hosted an end of the year citywide event for the high school students to put on and showcase their projects, because in the schools they place dream directors to help the students lead passion-based projects. So I became a dream director within my own schools, became the coach of the next dream directors, and moved on forward. So this work has always been within me, and then the knowing came, the awareness came in after.
Good thing. What a blessing. Thank you.
I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you. We love you. We see you.
Wow.
Feeling the calling. That's your calling.
Okay, James. Yes.
This fire over here is like dancing. Yeah.
Well, my name is Brother Dooley, and my first love, or experience of love, is definitely my mom's.
What's her name?
Her name is Fatima Ahmad. She was born Maria, but she changed her name to Fatima when she embraced Islam. My mom was a very interesting lady, I remember being in her stomach, and I remember when I was in elementary school, I told the kids that I remember being in my mom's stomach, and they laughed at me. It's like, how you remember that? And I was like, yeah, that was my earliest memory, and then my dad told me how he remembered being in my grandmother's stomach, but he kind of remembered it more in detail and things. But I remember this warm, dark place, and my mom was considered schizophrenic, but I didn't really grow up with her. But the times that we did have together, even as a youth, I really cherished them, and I realized over the years that my mom was awakened and didn't have the support of the society around her, and because of that, she had that label, but she would talk to angels all the time. She would talk to even the demons too, and that would be scary sometimes for me. But she was my first teacher, my first introduction to learn about the spirit plane, and the things that would come out of that woman's mouth, profound. And she would teach me things like how to talk to the trees, all kinds of different things when I was little. And she was at home wherever she went. It was like, it didn't matter where she would be at, she was at home. And she would be in the mosque one day, maybe in synagogue the next day, the ashram the other day, you know what I mean? And she understood it was all God. You know, she didn't get caught up in the divisions, in the titles. And what I really appreciated about her is she didn't judge people at all. And that's what people really loved about it, because they felt at home with her. And it didn't matter if you was thug, if you was pimp, if you was drug dealer, or if you was a holy man. She would make room to listen to you and talk to you and love you just like you was one of her children. You know, like that's what really amazed me about her level of unconditional love. You know, and there was times where, you know, I have 2 sisters and a younger brother, and there was times where sometimes my siblings felt like out of place because she was giving so much love to everyone that it was like, hey, what about us, you know? But I realized from even my interactions with my mom, there's a balance with everything, you know? So there was a lot of lessons there. My second, I have to say, love was really, if we had a second love, is my daughter. And you know, I love my son too, but my daughter has this type of wisdom and love that comes out of this. Again, these new children, these beings coming from, I don't even know where they're coming from, but like, yeah, they're coming through, and they're really coming through to change some things now. You know, like my brother here said, and just the kindness that comes out of, she's so sweet, man. You know what I mean? And sometimes I get scared for her, you know, as a parent, you know, because I was like, you have all this love, but sometimes we look at this world and see all the stuff that could come out of it sometimes. So there's that part of me like, man, you know, I just want to make sure she's protected all the time, but which I know she is, but you know, but yeah, that's another place where I learned about love again from my firstborn, you know. And my name is, you know, it's an acronym, Divine Universal Loving Intelligence. I have other names that were given to me, Dara Kumba. My mom gave to me, Dua when I was in the 5% Nation. I have this other one, the crazy one that comes out sometimes. Sir Nigger Rob. You know what I mean? I don't want him to come out sometimes, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's, this shit gets a little wild when he comes out. Yeah, there's many parts of me. But so that's that. You know? Thank you. See, I didn't even want to mention his name. Started this wild shit. It's not gonna fucking 40, nigga. It's like, yes. Let's continue.
It's a part of you too.
Yeah.
And that part needs love too.
Yes.
So all parts matter, you know?
Yes.
So we can let our crazy parts out now?
Yeah. You have to embrace it all. They gotta embrace it all.
Yes, right.
We have parts. My name is Hayla. I would say I learned love from my parents, but I think there was something of a higher level that made me to love unconditional. Because everything, when I say I love somebody, it's unconditional. I can know your faults, your flaws, and I still love you.
Yeah.
Because we're in a society, it's like, if you do this, they look at you funny. You do this, you're not looked at. But if somebody can accept you when you're at your worst, and they say like, okay, when I have no money, you don't care. Most people don't want to be around you when you're at their worst. I tend to want to be around you when you're at your worst. Because it's like, you need a little bit of a distraction because people will stay in that spot mentally. So you can be that little bit of breath of fresh air for them to say, I don't have to think about that. Because people like when they want to, people want to vent, but then you're like, okay, you vented about it. So now let's move forward. Let's do something. judged by how you look. It's very superficial. I sometimes you might tend to hear me say like, I don't belong here, but I'm here. I get disgusted with human beings, and I say that. I've said that a few times, and I'm like, God, you guys are disgusting, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm talking about myself for a second, but it's like, no, because there's certain things I've seen and experienced, and I'm like, what is wrong with you all? Like what? Like you do things and you know you're doing something wrong, but you pursue it, and then you wonder why you get a certain reaction. Because if we lived in other countries, we're privileged here. We're very privileged here. If we were someplace else, if we stole, your hand would get cut off. If you lied, your tongue gets cut out. If you, like very quickly, and you'll be left just like that. It says, now we don't need to kill you, but you're going to suffer. Who's going to help you? The things you took for granted, your hands, your fingers. Most people are going to say like, I don't want to associate with that person because there's something attached to that person. Like as Julie said too, I can know a lot of different types of people. I'm not going to not speak to you just because we're in different living conditions. The guy who's on the corner, that's my friend, just like the one who has the suit on. Because you have to, everybody has a gift and a talent. Some of them, they stay under the radar because they don't want the attention. Because negative attention is not a good thing. Because that's what people don't understand. What you're doing, what you're saying, because you're moving in a way that's not acceptable and it challenges them. If they see you do a little thing, why are you doing that? It's not meant for you to understand it. I understand it. Somebody will say, oh, it's so eccentric, you're doing something like this. There's certain things I can't share with my family because I'm the black sheep. Like, why would you think of doing something like that? Or if I ask questions, what do you want to know about that for? Like, well, why not? Like, I know it's in our culture. I know that we do it. So why is it such, like, why are you ashamed to talk about it? Because it's a gift. It's not just a gift for us. It's a gift that you can help people. If I see someone who needs help, it's not necessarily money. It could be somebody they need to talk to you. They may see something, but they can't have those kind of conversations with everybody. Because the first thing they'll say is, oh, you're doing drugs, or you're doing this. It's like, yeah, it's like, you don't have to be, even if you were doing some mushrooms, like, who cares, you know? It's your experience. I'm not going to take away from your experience, but don't begrudge me mine either. And being like, I went to Africa, that was a whole another trip, because we have it in our head how it is on the continent, but I wasn't brought up like that. I didn't know about racism until I went to school. I didn't know anything about colorism or anything until I went to school. When I started hearing words, I'm repeating them, and they're like, where are you hearing this at? I'm like, in school. I'm like, what is it? Because I didn't know what it was. I said, we were all equal as far as I was concerned. It's like, no, my father's like, I have to let you know, it's not a level playing field. He says, it's going to be worse for you because you're a female, you're black. You're going to have a bigger problem. The men are going to have a problem, but you're going to have a problem with how you look, where you're going to school. People are going to say things, so you have to prepare yourself. You're never really going to be prepared. You can try to be mentally prepared, but people come at you saying like really venomous things, and you're like, that's ignorance. That's ignorance and fear. When people are talking to you, because you're talking about something they're trying to. I mean, how do you know that? You had to have lived here before. How do you know those things? Because you're speaking that's something over their head, and it's challenging whatever their belief systems are. So when I went to Africa, I felt like I was home. I mean, because people look, oh, like you're a city person. I said, you don't know how I grew up. I can look polished, but if you were to really see how I grew up, I used to have to go fetch water. I went without lighting. But people see what they want to see. And I said, I can live in the woods. I've lived in the woods before. I actually preferred that. Because if something goes out, I'm not upset like there's no phone, there's no air conditioning, the mosquito, like, it was just simple. The life is very simple. It's very simple. What we have here, like, they wish they had clean water. Some areas they do, some they don't. They have to walk 20 miles to go get water. Their kids have to walk 20 miles to go to a classroom that's out in the woods. And we're here, some people complaining about how bad they have it here. I'm like, you don't know anything about how bad it is. But then when I got there and I had my naming ceremonies, that's when they were like, we're not calling you by your government name. So I was like, okay. There's a process with how you're named, like how parents name their children. They're like, you can pick a name, but that's not what you're gonna get. Some people, when they go for these naming ceremonies, they're like, oh, I'm gonna do this. No, you don't. You don't have a say so. They're consulting with the elders and the ancestors what your name is, and it has a significance, and it's also an obligation, a responsibility. Whether you choose to take it, it's not held against you, but you're aware, like, this is what I have two names. My first name is Guchu. Guchu means queen of the mother of the warriors. And it's funny because they were like, you have to be strong, but you still have to have a heart. When it's time for you to fight, you know what you have to do, but you still have to have some type of compassion. The other name I have is they gave me the title of princess, but I don't necessarily like those titles, but that's something too. People think that we're all from royalty, but when you're given a title, even with that, again, because there's responsibility. People think like, oh, princess, queen, mother. No, it's a job.
The crown.
Yeah, they're looking at the material stuff. Yes, you can get land. Yes, you can get this, but there's a job attached to it. And you're thinking like, oh, I just got a name. They're like, no, because you have this. This is what your destiny is. This is your name. You better get used to your name. Because I never used my government name there, and they're like, you need to start using that name. People are going to say, like, I'm not going to call you by that because I've known you by this name. It says, okay, they said, but there's going to be a point they're going to have to bow to you. And not to be funny, they were like, sometimes you don't know who you're talking to. All of us are on different levels spiritually. That's why they tell people, be careful who you're talking to, because you don't know what level they're on in the spirit realm.
It's true.
And you don't have to agree with somebody, but you don't disrespect them. Because the moment that you disrespect even the thought, not even that you took action, the moment that you thought something negative on somebody, it's already reflected back onto you. So that's why they say you have to be careful what you think and what you say. Because it'll definitely come back up on you. But it's definitely an experience when you get back to the continent and you see they just so happy to see you there. Because they're like, why would you could go anywhere in the world, why would you come back here? Because it's planted in everybody to keep us separate. I've seen that when I was getting visas. Why do you want to go there? And I was like, and this is at the embassy. I said, well, why wouldn't I? You should go over to such. And I said, wait, but you going over there? Right. I know what you're going for, because I stay in the indigenous areas. So when they would see a white person come, they already knew why they're coming there. They're coming there to make money.
Right.
There's no other, and they can live a better quality of life there. But they know they're coming to take. They're not putting back in if they're cutting the trees down. They're not planting in more trees. If they hire labor, like $5 a week. Like, I'm saying, like, we can't even live off of like $100 a week. Imagine if you had to live off of $5 a week. And that's supposed to pay your rent, your food. Yeah, they take advantage, but also the government is a part of that too, because they're getting something under the table. And I'm like, you guys could be corrupt, but there's a way you could be corrupt and you can still make sure your people are taken care of. But they don't want to do that. It's just like, as long as me and my people, they're like,
that's why they gotta go.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So, but now if we come even though we're from the diaspora and we come there, people are gonna want to work with you because they know, oh, I trust her. Yeah, she's our sister, but whatever she's doing, it's gonna make money. Whatever he's doing, it's gonna. But they know the people are gonna listen to you faster than they'll listen to them. That's how you can have power without asking for it. If you make a suggestion, that one person has told 50 people already, and they're standing there saying, well, what do you want to do? Now, compared to here, it takes a lot of time. If you sound like you know what you're talking about and you're producing something, the politicians, they don't have nothing on you. Because they're just like here, they're talking, some of them will do some things, some of them won't. But when you go there and they see you're putting in effort where the government's not doing it, if I'm coming in here, I'm putting in wells and stuff, and I'm not looking for anything, who do you think they're going to support? That's when the politician will say, oh, I want to come and work with you. Yeah, you want photo ops, that's what you want. So you got to deal with the psychology, because just like you think you're smart, I'm smarter than you, I know what you want. But it has to benefit me. If I'm going to make a deal with the devil, I want to make a deal that's benefiting me and my people. Because then they'll say, well, she did this, but she gets a double-edged sword. So sometimes you have to do that. But if it's going to make where I can have everybody happy, I'll do the dance, but I'm still going to come out on top. But I want to make sure that everybody else is taken care of, because that's all we have is each other. That's all that we have is each other. We can have our differences, but we have to learn to put some of those things aside. Because I know our personalities, sometimes we meet people, it clashes. I can agree to disagree with you. I can agree to disagree with you. I like a good debate. I can do, but I'm not going to go out of my way to be spiteful. Because that's a double-edged sword. When you do something to me, you're actually doing it to yourself at the same time. And that's the kind of karma I don't want. No one wants it. When you put out good, you get good. But everybody who's here right now, it was supposed to be this amount of people. It wasn't going to be a big amount. Like I saw that, I was like, it's not going to be a lot of people. Because who's meant to be here is here right now.
And
So
say your spiritual name one more time.
Guchu.
Oh, thank you.
That's my Cameroonian name from the Bamaliki tribe.
Anyone else feel the calling?
Look at Keisha, she's like,
All right, that means you met the calling. She's like, I don't know.
Libra to Libra.
yes, Libra.
I don't even know what to say. Hi, my name is Takesha. I am the daughter to Cliff and Teresa. You see, when it comes to that first idea of love, I don't really know how to answer that, because it was when I met James. I consider love acceptance, and James accepted me despite my flaws.
You know exactly what to say.
Right.
Yes.
You know exactly what to say.
That was my first experience of
Yes.
love. James accepting me,
Yes.
just me.
Yes.
Ashe.
Totally.
Yes.
Seeing me and accepting me and being at peace with that. So,
That's it.
But that's perfect.
I did. I have a name, Takesha. I don't have any other name. Steph Keisha.
I love this whole
My name is Takesha. I'm like, why the hell would my mother name me Takesha? She wanted to name me Tequila. Like Stephanie, I always said if I ever became an entertainer, it would be Stephanie in lights. And I was like, well, Steph Keisha.
Oh, that's cute. That's like okay, Steph Keisha. And I also just want to say that, sometimes when we hear other people saying, however they're saying things, and we're thinking like, oh, well, I have a different story, or it's different, that give yourself permission to say exactly what just because it's different, it's yours. And that's what this is all about, that's why I open up the space for everybody to say their name, because sometimes we have been all colonized in some way. And even by our names. So who are you? You are a sovereign being. You are allowed to call yourself whatever you want. So just give yourself permission. So thank you for
Thank you.
and thank you, James, for being loved. And it's either one of y'all two. Eeny, miny, mo, you.
I'm Julian. Like Takesha, I'm not sure what to say about love because I'm still working on this. And most of my life I've been protecting myself, so. But I have been shown love. My mother, my paternal, the women on the paternal side of my family recognizing that I have certain qualities and promoting that, my mother as well. So, what was the other thing?
Just your name.
So I said my name. That's the only name that I have right now. There is another name that came to me in meditation. I think that's the name of my higher self. But yeah, so there's that other name.
Would you like to share it in this space?
No.
That's okay.
And yeah, I'm working on the heart space and opening that. Life has been a whirlwind of clearing cerebral energy and connecting intuitively since 2020. So I'm working on self, I'm progressing, and yeah, that's me right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Last but not least, so my name is Deborah, and this thing called love, it's like I can kind of touch on everyone's story. So for me, it's like all over the place when it comes to the story about love. My first experience of love would, I would say, come from my family. I am the baby of 8 children, and understanding the different levels of love from my mom, from my dad, from my brothers, from my sisters, like understanding that in the family where their love was more of they were sort of very masculine, so it was like a protective love, watching over me love, always guiding me kind of love. But I kind of always looked at it as like, that's not love. Like, I want the gushy love that I received from mom and my sisters, but it's different levels of love. As I grew older, I started to understand that, and I was able to better to communicate with them and understand them. And then now I have my own sons, and so they see that in me. And then the other variable is the love that you receive from friends, understanding, that's a whole another realm of love that you give and take and receive from the friends, and supporting one another and understanding one another, getting to know one another. And then the love with relationships with men. I learned a huge lesson, the journey with that. And I learned how to love myself. So that journey started years ago because I was always the type of person who was always giving and helping and assisting and volunteering and never really taking care of myself. And so I learned a huge lesson about how to learn how to start taking care of Deborah. And it was actually difficult because I would fall back into the space of always being concerned about someone else and always trying to assist someone else. And what about me? And she's right. In this society, we live in a world where everyone's judging you on the outside. And if they're not judging you on the outside, they're judging what's in your pockets. They're not looking at what's in your pockets, they're looking at something else. So I started to become more aware about the people that I'm around because they can pull on me in very different ways and take advantage of me because my heart was always running around, everybody's love. But I realized not everyone has the same intentions, when it comes film does this and this and this and that, and documenting everything so that as I grow more and more, you know, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, financially, like all of those levels, you know, I started to learn, you know, so that I could better protect myself and take better care of myself moving forward. So I just see love like all over the place, and I have different levels of love for everyone in this room, believe it or not. I don't love everyone the same way.
Right.
And I have a different way of showing everyone love. Although they may say, oh, she's disciplining me and she's more open and loving with me. For me, I'm just like, well, I feel like you kind of needed that kind of love, you know, because I look at love on different levels.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the journey, by the way, just like Jillian. So, and that's exactly why I'm here tonight, because I know Cacao.
That's right.
And I'm so happy that you brought that up. And it was interesting, like, you know, a lot of everybody else was more focused on, you know, the first encounter, which is what I asked, you know, technically asked for. But at the same time, there is like so many different ways and spectrums. So thank you. I think that's why Spirit made you go last. You know, like you gave us the whole spectrum. So thank you for that. That was perfect. So my name, I got a lot of names, y'all. So my name is Fairy Hawk, and that's a whole story. I'll tell you another day. But I was named that by a sister of mine. The short version is that I helped her rescue the body of a dead hawk, and so she could put it to proper burial. And I really need glasses, y'all. I can't really see. I mean, this eye is open, but the other two, I don't know. So like, I was just very magically fairy led to this hawk, and that's how I got my name pretty much. And so Fairy Hawk is something that, I don't know, at first I didn't use it for a long time. Like, she gave me this name in like 2009, and I recently just started to use it because it's just like, no, this is, I don't know, it just kind of, like how you're saying, it's just like more pushing me forward and like wants to be seen and heard. And then I am a Kundalini yoga teacher as well, so they have this like site where you could give me a birth date and then they give you a Kundalini yoga name, and it's like, oh, okay. And then, but it actually really is very interesting because it's very connected to my biological name, and it's Amrita Mahankar. Amrita is like the nectar of grace, and it's like the divine great nectar of grace. And my name is Graciela, which means grace. So I was like, I'm supposed to be a graceful motherfucker. And then my Jewish family, because I was adopted, so my Jewish family, they named me Erica Brooke Asher. Yeah, who? I don't know who the fuck she is. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, she has a whole other vibration, and she's like, she's a hot mess. And then I have another name that's like kind of how like your name that you were saying, like, woo, like my name is Scrappy. And yeah. Yeah. And I
can
was
see
like, you can see it? Oh damn, I thought I hit her.
We love her. We love her too.
Yeah, she was a thief. Like, do not put your wallet out by Scrappy. It would be gone. No, it wasn't that. She wasn't that bad, but yeah, she was a hot mess, and she really just wanted to be seen and wanted to be heard. To be honest, that's really what it was, and she just was like always making a spectacle of herself. So the more I love myself and the more that I honor myself, that part doesn't need to be seen as much anymore. And my first connection with love, I feel very much similar to you, how there's like just many different dimensions of love. So I would say like my dimension